September 20th, 1881. Unexpected President. Chester Alan Arthur took the oath of office in New York City, becoming the 21st President of the United States after the death of President James Abram Garfield. Garfield had been shot by Charles J. Guiteau on July 2, 1881, at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in Washington, D.C. Though he survived the initial attack, Garfield endured months of painful treatment before dying on September 19, 1881. The nation faced a sudden transfer of power at a time of political division and national mourning. Arthur's oath was administered at his Lexington Avenue residence at 2:15 a.m. by New York Supreme Court Justice John R. Brady. The ceremony was private, with a small group of witnesses present, reflecting both the urgency of the situation and the unusual circumstances. Because some questioned the legitimacy of a state judge administering the oath, Arthur repeated the ceremony on September 22, 1881, in Washington, D.C., with Chief Justice Morrison Waite presiding. This dual inauguration underscored the fragility of succession procedures in the absence of clear constitutional guidance. Arthur assumed office with a reputation as a stalwart Republican and a longtime supporter of the spoils system, having served as collector of the Port of New York, one of the most influential patronage positions in the nation. His association with party boss Roscoe Conkling caused skepticism about his ability to govern independently or reform government practices. Many citizens and politicians feared that his administration would continue entrenched corruption and patronage. Contrary to expectations, Arthur used his presidency to advance reform. The most significant achievement of his administration was the passage of the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act in 1883. This law created the United States Civil Service Commission and introduced competitive examinations for certain government positions. It marked the beginning of the federal merit system, curtailing the spoils system that had dominated American politics for decades. Arthur's support for the act demonstrated his recognition of public demands for change after Garfield's assassination, which had been partly motivated by frustration over patronage. Arthur also worked to modernize the United States Navy. At the time, the Navy consisted largely of wooden ships, many obsolete and unfit for modern combat. Under his leadership, Congress authorized the construction of the nation's first steel warships, laying the groundwork for a more modern and capable naval force. This initiative helped shift the United States toward becoming a stronger maritime power by the end of the 19th century. Another consequence of Arthur's presidency was the absence of a vice president. After Garfield's death, no constitutional mechanism existed to fill the vacancy, leaving the office empty until the next election. This highlighted the weaknesses of succession laws before the ratification of the 25th Amendment many decades later. The gap demonstrated the need for stronger provisions to ensure continuity of executive leadership. Arthur's inauguration was significant beyond his policies. It represented the strength of constitutional order during a moment of national shock. The peaceful transfer of power following an assassination tested American democracy and showed the resilience of institutions. Despite concerns about his political affiliations, Arthur governed with a measure of independence, supporting reform and strengthening the executive office. His time in office challenged initial assumptions about his leadership and left a mark on civil service, naval policy, and presidential succession precedents. The events of September 20, 1881, demonstrated that the presidency could endure a sudden crisis without collapse. Arthur's swearing-in, though conducted under unusual circumstances, maintained stability during a period of uncertainty. His decision to support reform and modernization ensured that his presidency would be remembered not only as an accidental inheritance of power, but as a turning point in the evolution of American governance. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.